This is a Transformers masterpiece Hot Rodimus MP28, but not really. It's Hatsune. This is a bootleg. A very evil looking bootleg that tries to pass itself off as the real thing. So let's take a look at the packaging first. It looks a lot like the real thing. It says Transformers on there. It's got the Takara logo on there. They were even bold enough to keep the Autobot faction symbols on, and having the name Hot Rodimus.
Je m'appelle...
Most bootlegs and third-party companies try to stay away from having any official things on there. Like this is a copy of the MP10 Optimus Prime, but nowhere on it does it say Transformers or have any of the faction logos on it. And while those bootlegs do actually have the name of the Chinese company on there, this one doesn't. Which I guess is how they got away with all the infringement. Like, it attempts to fool you into thinking this is an actual product. But if you take a closer look at the print quality on the box, you can tell that it's a non-genuine product. The colors are also far less saturated. Here's a look at the top of the box. It looks very authentic. Even from the side it looks genuine, but you can tell the quality of the print there isn't the best. And here is the other side, and here is the back. And once again, it does look like a genuine product. It has all the same text and images on there that the official product has, but at a lower quality. So look for these things when you're at a convention or something so you can avoid buying a bootleg masterpiece figure. Now let's see how this bootleg really is. Here is the figure, and it looks pretty nice. So just like the actual masterpiece, it comes in vehicle mode, and this bootleg has a more like satin or matte type finish than the actual product, and that red maroonish color seems a bit faded. I do wish the colors were different and that it was a bit glossier, because when looking at other videos online of this specific bootleg that came in the exact same type of box, the color on those Hot Rodimus bootlegs were much different than the colors on this one. So it's very interesting why mine looks different. And yeah, they did not shy away from putting an Autobot logo on there. Now accessories wise, it comes with the same exact stuff as the original. He comes with a pizza cutter, 2 blasters, a fishing rod, and a matrix of leadership. I am currently 3D printing a matrix of leadership for a future video, so make sure to subscribe for that. And I think this is die-cast metal. For some reason, I have a hard time telling the temperature difference with my hands. Yeah, this is definitely die-cast. He also does come with a card, and it's got stats on the back and writing that I cannot read, and an instruction booklet. It is a fold-out instruction booklet that looks just like the original. But once again, when it comes to areas like here, you can tell that the print quality is bad. Now let's go back to Hot Rodimus in his vehicle mode. It copies an actual masterpiece pretty well, minus the colors. He's got the yellow spoiler here, translucent blue windows, the engine over here, as well as the flame pattern here. You got some detail inside the headlights. You got the classic silver smoke pipes. On the back, you have these orange jet thingies for jetting around. These are supposed to be down. They're supposed to come out for the transformation. And there is a little bit of detail at the back here. And here's a look at the underneath of the figure. This compartment right here can open up, so you can place the matrix inside. That's not the right way. There we go. You can see it from underneath, and it holds in place pretty well. Now, if you take the weapons and move the handle, you can... that fell. Bring the handles back so you have this side out, and then you can insert it in these slots on the car mode and have them, you know, like that. Another thing you can do is open this up all the way, and then you can place the weapons in there. Now, comparison with Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, obviously this one is much bigger, and they both do look a little bit different. The bootleg masterpiece is much longer than the Studio Series figure. I prefer the colors on the Studio Series, and the transformation on both of these figures are very different. And speaking of transformation, let's get to transforming this. Let's take out his arms. Same over here, bend them down like so, flip this over and make sure this orange piece is detached. Now I find it a lot easier to first bring the legs down, so that way you can bring the head up and bring the chest piece down. It can be a little bit finicky. Here, let's move these arms out of the way, and now we can bring the chest piece all the way down. Rotate the head piece out, and let's get the chest piece back in place. You don't really have to open this, I just find it easier that way. Now we can bring this forward and align his head properly. Push these pieces into the side. Now we just need to bring this engine piece down back in here. Bring that back piece up, fold these orange bits in, and then we're supposed to push them in the back like this, and then it's supposed to bring out these right here. Mine's a bit loose, so they kind of just come out all the time. Now fold the back piece down, flip the spoiler over, tab the back piece into this part here. Now do you see this right here? Look at it. Tab these arm pieces into the windshield. Same on this side. Bring the flaps on the chest down, separate the legs, open both of them up, unfold the legs, and this here is supposed to tab into that part. Same thing over here. Spread those feet open. Now onto the hands, they're inside the arms here, so we open that, flip this open, bring the hands out, turn these arms to the side where this piece is facing forward, rotate the rest of the arms out, and now once you get the other side done, there is Hot Rod. Now the proportions on this are a little bit weird, like the legs are really long, but I think the rest of the figure doesn't look bad. Here's a look at his head sculpt. He's got nice blue eyes over there. It's a very simple head sculpt. If you open the head up, you'll see hiding inside is a visor that you can bring down. You have his chest with the Autobot insignia and the flames, which once again, this can open up so you can put the matrix inside. There's some detail inside the chest panel, and some extra detail here. There's some detail behind the arms here. Move this out of the way to reveal a bit more detail there. He's got orange legs and a very nice looking metallic silver on the rest of his legs. There's some panel work here and at the back. This figure does suffer from having stretch marks here, here, and here. Also one here. And just like the actual masterpiece figure, the backpack on this is bigger than Shrek himself. It's also a bit loose and keeps coming out. Now this connection over here is kind of garbage, but not like garbage. It's more like recyclable garbage, meaning it pops off pretty easily. I hope that makes sense. I do believe the original masterpiece had that issue as well. This arm right here is also a little bit loose on my copy of the figure. Also, these legs are super loose and they're not very good for dynamic poses. Now a closer look at the photon lasers, they look really nice. I do like the color on them and they have a good amount of detail. Here's a look at the other one and it looks really great, but honestly most of the credit goes to Takaro since this is a copy of their figure. Once again, here's a closer look at the pizza cutter. It does spin and it does have a little bit of detail on there, not too much. Fun fact, Hot Rod used to work at Domino's. And here is a fishing rod, which I feel like is probably the most useless accessory a Transformers figure could ever come with. The reel does have a good amount of detail though, I will give it that. If this was a Big the Cat figure, then I would expect a fishing rod, but I don't really care from Hot Rod from one scene in one movie. And for the blasters, the easiest way to put them in is have them sideways and then turn them, close the hands. It's a very awkward way to get a figure to hold something, but he holds them in place pretty well. For the fishing rod, you just have him firmly grasp it in hand, and yeah, that's that. I don't know what to say, it's just a fishing rod.
Oh, got your bitches. Notice how there's nothing in my hand? You lonely fuck.
And finally for the saw, you just have to open it up, put his hand in there, and then you can attach the saw piece. So now he can slice giant slices of pizza. Time for articulation. The head can move up and down, a full 360 movement, a full rotation on the arms. There's that hinge joint there that allows it to move forward and back. Rotation at the biceps, a very nice elbow bend. The hands can spin around, and they can open. Full waist rotation. These flaps right here can move. Oh, geez. The side flaps and the back flaps can move as well. You can bend them at the waist out like that. The legs can move out forward. You can bring them out to the side and you can bring them back. You can spin the legs all the way around. 90-degree knee bend, and the feet can move forward and back. Now let's compare them to Studio Series Hot Rod. I need to transform him. There we go. There's a closer look at the head sculpts on both of the figures. I think the head sculpt on this one looks a lot better than the one here. This one just seems kind of lifeless. They're both very similar looking. I think the proportions on this one are done much better than the proportions here. As said before, while I do kind of like this, something about it seems a little bit off that I can't quite explain. This one also has more detail on it. There's a lot more panel work on the arms here, the crotch piece, as well as the legs. And the back on this one is much flatter. It would be nice to see an oversized version of this figure if a third-party company could do that. And this one doesn't have the arms tap into the back piece, which I think is a much better design choice. Here he is next to the Takaro Headmaster Hot Rod. Here he is next to the abomination known as Alternators Rodimus. And this video wouldn't be complete without a side-by-side look with the G1 Hot Rod. Well, there it is. Now, is this figure worth a buy? You're pretty much getting almost the same exact figure as the Masterpiece version at a much lower price, with decent quality as well, and a lot of flaking also. Now, if you enjoyed this video over here, make sure to check out any of these videos, and a big thank you to all my patrons who support me on Patreon for only $1 a month. There'll be a link in the description below. Subscribe.